So you hear about it from brokers all the time. You hear about it from coaches all the time. They tell you that if prospecting's not in your schedule, you're just not going to make it in real estate. And then there's some truth to that. But there's one thing that if you're missing it, it doesn't matter how much prospecting you're going to do, you're not going to win. I'm excited to share what that is with you. We're going to talk about it in today's episode. Let's get started.
On this episode of Motivation and Momentum, we talk about who is truly in your sphere of influence. We hear from a former Secret Service agent about the importance of taking action, as well as we share a simple referral strategy that is guaranteed to get you closings from your network. First, let's listen to this clip from Brokers Open Podcast where Matt shares why it's so important for us to learn about this.
Having time set aside that you're going to do a specific type of business building. Okay. So a lot of people, what they feel like that is, they feel like that's prospecting. Okay. So there's some people that are like, man, I got to do 3 hours in the morning, every morning, just cranking out the phone calls, calling for sale binders, expires, whatever. I love that if that's what you want to do. Right. But there's some people that's just not a good match for. But that doesn't mean that you don't prospect. That doesn't mean that you don't do those income producing activities. That doesn't mean that you don't spend those time on those things. So that's whenever you kind of have to set time aside and say, okay, this is my personality. This is how I like to prospect. This is what I've been effective with. I looked at either the sourcing of my business to see what I've done historically in the past, or two, I've talked to somebody that's helped me understand my personality and how that relates to what's supposed to be going on from a prospecting standpoint. Or three, I've got my own experience and I've worked with somebody else's experience and I've seen how they've done it. And I'm like, okay, I could do it that same way. So we're going to pick what that prospecting method is and we're going to make sure that we stick with it. And then we're going to set that time aside to make sure that we prospect in a way that is actually beneficial to us because it fits and matches our personality.
Let's take a look at a live mastermind that we recently did where Matt shared an exercise that shows why IPAs, income producing activities, are so important for generating closings and more transactions inside of your real estate business.
If you decided today, and I'm not saying do this, but if you decided today that you were just going to go through all the contacts on your phone and reach out to them and talk to them about real estate and have good conversations with them on, about what's going on with real estate, what would happen?
So we got a lot of answers from the participants of BOP Live. Everything from I'd have a lot more listing appointments, I'd be going on more showings, I'd be adding people to my CRM all of the time, I'd be building relationships inside of my community. Now let's get Matt's take on what he thinks would happen.
Absolutely. So there's three different ways that conversation would go, right? So one way is they say stop, right? One way is they say yes, let's do some kind of business together, and they respond. But the big thing that happens is a lot of people ghost, right? And remember, we talk about Casper being a friendly ghost, right? When somebody Caspers you, it's a friendly ghost. That doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing happening. But absolutely, some people you would scare off, some people you would bring closer to you, and some people would just be indifferent to it, right? That's just real estate. Here's the point that I wanted to make by asking everybody. If you did that, hey, so Shauna, if you did that, you would get busy. Here's the biggest thing that I struggle with whenever I'm having conversations with people and they're trying to learn how to put their schedule together. They're trying to learn what they need to do next. So they're trying to figure out how they need to spend their time. When you start doing some of the stuff that you're supposed to start doing, if you have not planned for the other things that happen, what's going to happen is you're going to start getting busy doing certain things. And then all of a sudden you're going to have to do other stuff, which is going to take that progress that you had and it's going to turn it off or it's going to turn it into something else.
So if we do our IPAs, our income producing activities, we know we're going to get busy, right? Matt just shared that if we get busy doing those things, it's going to lead to some other distractions, right? Taking care of the transaction, doing CMAs, going on listing appointments, all those things that prevent us from doing all the things that got us busy in the first place. And so we're going to talk about those distractions and how to overcome those. But at the same time, let's listen to this clip where Matt talks about a referral strategy that is so easy to implement and is guaranteed to generate you business.
A lot of times when I say ask for referrals, this is what people think that I mean. Hey, Dr. Ben, this is Matt. I need more business. Can you send more people my way? And then Dr. Ben's got this yes or no decision to make. Okay. What I really mean is that if you've had value-based conversations with them, you could reach out to Dr. Ben and say something more along the line of, hey, Dr. Ben, somebody in my office came across a property that's actually a great investment. You and I have mentioned before that investments might be something that you're interested in, investing in real estate. I've got this property. I can send it to you, or is there anybody else you know that I could send this information to that might be interested in purchasing an investment property and making some money? That's asking for a referral too. Does everybody understand that? It's not just saying, hey, will you refer me? Hey, who else do you know? It is about conversationally delivering value, and in that, asking, do they know anybody else that wants that value? I will guarantee you that every person right now that is listening to this, whether live or on the recording, there is an investment property that somehow you're connected with through your company or through what you've seen in MLS or your own property or whatever it is that could be sold to an investor. I'm just telling you. All you have to do is reach out to the people that you know, make sure that they know that property is available, and connect the dots.
Okay, so now you have a simple referral strategy that you can use inside of your sphere of influence. But who counts as your sphere of influence? We recently did a podcast about it. Here's a clip from that explaining the difference between your SOI and just a general acquaintance.
Center or our sphere of acquaintances, and then we have our sphere of influence.
Yeah.
Our sphere of influence is where we're really going to get those referrals from.
Yeah.
That's where those people are going to talk to us, and they're going to say, "Hey, this is if real estate comes up, somebody's going to say, my gosh, you got to talk to Ben."
Yeah.
Right. That's the sphere of influence, and a lot of people get confused. They think that leads or people that they know are people that are in their sphere of influence, and they're not. Everybody should be spending a certain amount of time in their week building their sphere of influence. Building it so that it's people that really like them, that will refer them. They need to talk to those people on a regular basis. That's one of the biggest income producing activities that's going to get you that referral business the way that we talked about. Everybody wants it because it's the kind that converts the easiest. That's the best way to get it, is by getting in front of those people on a consistent basis. And think about it. Who doesn't like talking to them? So the second big thing that we wanted to make sure we talked about was taking action. Okay. And I came across this incredible clip, and Ben, we're going to share this clip with everybody.
Okay.
Don't put yourself in a place where you're completely stagnant. That's where you get stuck.
How did they train you as a Secret Service agent to have that instrumental mindset?
Action. Everything's action. Make a choice, make a choice, make a choice, move, go, go, go. Do you know what's interesting? Everything was about movement. Don't be still. Even when you're getting shot at, don't be still. They actually teach you to run in zigzags. It's actually really hard to shoot someone. If they're not perfectly still, we would shoot paper targets. You miss. You're stressed out, your emotion, you're looking at this guy shooting, that person shooting, am I shooting like shit? Because everyone's looking at each other's scores, and, if you don't shoot well, they're gonna be like, oh, I don't wanna take you out on the next raid with me, right? So you've got that adrenaline rush. It's a hard thing to do, but they teach you hey, if you're getting shot at, don't sit there like a dummy, move, run. And while you're running, run like zigzag, throw people off, move. And I've taken that premise of always being kinesis. Kinesis is a Greek move. Kinesis, move, move. Always move. Create momentum. No matter how stuck you feel, just move. Don't sit still. I'm not saying don't grieve, don't be sad, don't feel. It's okay, but don't put yourself in a place where you're completely stagnant, because that's where you get stuck. And you don't move, and you get comfortable, and you become afraid. If you can just create movement, I'm going to create a little bit of movement. I'm going to make a decision here, and then another one. If you can just stay in kinesis, movement, you'll be able to move through whatever it is you're going through.
The whole clip just talked about taking action. And I loved her perspective. Her perspective was, of course, like she said, she was in the Secret Service, and it was all about taking action. It was all about movement. It was all about going forward and doing things. That's a big part of what we're talking about. And whenever it comes to taking action and having income producing activities, you have to make sure that you keep moving. Don't get stumped on, I don't have everybody's phone number, so I can't do anything. Okay, well then email the ones you have an email for, and call the ones that you have a phone number for, and go knock on the door of the neighbor that you don't have any of that for, and get the rest of that information. Take action. So if you want income producing activities to go to work for you, if you want to get those better quality leads, you need to make sure that you're moving, that you're taking action, that you're zigzagging like she was talking about. That's how you have to spend your time, at least some of the time during the week, if you really want to succeed in your business.
So we've learned a lot today about IPAs, income producing activities, but you may have some questions. And we get this question all the time. What exactly is BOP Live? Here's a recent clip where Matt was talking specifically about that.
Yeah, so BOP Live is a mastermind of agents from across the country. It's every Thursday Eastern time from 12 o'clock to 1 o'clock. As long as you register, you're welcome. You're going to get the login credentials and everything so that you can get in there. It's one click on your email. We'll remind you on Thursday morning, so that way that you don't miss it. But it's best practices from top agents from across the country.
All right, guys and gals, thanks for spending so much time with me here on Motivation and Momentum. Don't forget to check out our podcast that drops every single Monday, as well as attend Thursday to BOP Live if you can, to our live mastermind that's absolutely free to attend. The link is in the description below. We would love to see you there. And as always, don't forget that Brokers Open Podcast, it's not just about opening doors to more opportunities, it's about closing more transactions.